while in my player, my guy's fighting with the press, talking about practice, I decided to go and create a legend. And you wonder who I'm choosing? I'm choosing Jeremy Lin. My last game with him, as you see right there, I had 13 points, 14 assists, 8 steals, and you see my stats right there, leading the NBA in assists. Jeremy Lin has a little bit of work to do. He has shot, I'll give him that. But what also I notice is that I'm missing, wide open dunks. Some of my passes are just a little bit off the mark. I upped his steals a bit. Now, as far as what the team is concerned, it's pretty much the same. In my player, I don't have Tyson Chandler. I have Ronnie Turioff. So you could pretty much say, it's an upgrade. Yeah, Chandler could do a lot of damage down below. He could block shots, he could get dunks, all of that good jazz. Carmelo, for some reason, he struggles a bit. Now, as far as my goal with Lin, because I'm doing this to preoccupy my time, create a legend with Lin, I'm going to try and up his steals, up his free throw shooting. Because later on in this video, you're going to see me miss a couple of free throws with Jeremy Lin. That's another thing I have to work on. Jared Jeffries, as you see, coming into the game. This create a legend is something like my player, but at the same time, you're controlling somebody else. You're not using your created self, which is all fine and dandy. And I mean, choosing Jeremy Lin, it's a little bit of a question mark because, he's not with the Knicks anymore in real life. He's with the Houston Rockets. But you see, I don't care. I like using Jeremy Lin. He's a good player. He's not a scrub. But he just needs a little bit of polishing. He's like, to me, Jeremy Lin is like a mold. You got to mold him right. I have a feeling I can mold him into the type of player that the Knicks should have. A legitimate point guard that makes good passes and minimizes turnovers. Pretty much I'm trying to mold Jeremy Lin into somewhat of a Chris Paul like, because Chris Paul is my favorite point guard. He likes to keep things under control. He doesn't rush things, that type of deal. So now that is going to be my goal with Jeremy Lin. My assists, as you see, 18 points, 5 assists. You would say that's pretty good. That's how I like to play with Jeremy Lin. He could put up the points. There's no doubting that. But minimizing the turnovers, that's my ultimate thing. And I've done that pretty well in this game. We played against Detroit, beginning of the season. Everything was going good. His shots, he could be cold at times and he could be red hot at times. But the main point in all of this is to try, see, like right there, trying to get a handle of things. And turnovers here and there, it's gonna happen, but I want to minimize it. So I'm going to be giving y'all a variety of different type of games as far as in the NBA standpoint. You're gonna see me with the Knicks using myself, Kachi. And then you're going to see me using Jeremy Lin in Create a Legend. Now, I'm doing this to occupy myself, like I said, because, 2K13 is, on its way. It's going to be releasing sometime, and I want to be prepared. So, I'm just using this to occupy myself. Now, with the whole Detroit situation, Ben Wallace, he was creating havoc in the middle for us, trying to get him in foul trouble, but it doesn't seem to be working all too well. So throughout this whole game, we had a big lead, then they came back, then they tied the game. I try to ice the game away. I mean, it's just one thing after another. And as you see, Villanueva hits a 3, we're only up by 2. That's how it's been throughout this whole game. And there's so much I can do with Jeremy Lin in this game because, one, foul trouble. But I mean, every great player goes through some type of foul trouble. As you see, game is tied, then we had to go up by 2. That's how it's been. But this whole video has been about Jeremy Lin, what I need to improve with him and all that stuff. Steals. shooting, 3-pointers. I mean, he could dunk. That's the same thing. He could dunk. But Jeremy Lin has a lot of work to do. I mean, I like his shot, as you see right there. He has a good stroke when it comes to shooting. But I may need to work on his inside game a bit more and trying to work on his 3-point shot as well. He has a good 3-point shot, but I'm going to work on it a little bit more. So this is Kachi, and I'm going to catch y'all later, man. Peace.
He doesn't hit the first. And no good on the second free throw, so he goes 0 for 2 there. So a close game sees